This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, LowcoSports fans. Welcome to the Monday night edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown, February 26, 2024. And Wes, you and I both said the same thing when we hopped in the room tonight. We're pumped. We're pumped for tonight's show. It's going to be a great one. We got more champs coming by. Last night we had 3 high school wrestling state champs from the Lowco on the Lowco grind, and that was awesome talking with them. Tonight we get to celebrate some more state champs, some basketball state champs that we didn't get a chance to catch up with Saturday night after their big win. So we're going to have Ben Frey stopping by from the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins, back-to-back champs in Skiza 3A boys, and then we're going to have Mya Hutchinson from the Hilton Head Christian Academy Eagles, 6-time state champs after beating John Paul II, which yeah, that was amazing. And also shout out to JP2 for being there at the end and providing a great foil. I mean, it was a competitive game for 3 quarters. It was, it was intense.
Yeah.
They made them fight for it.
I thought they Hilton and Christian kind of asserted themselves in the second when they got on that run. And but JP2, I mean, that's a really solid team. If you're not going up against like this Hilton and Christian, it's a generational, like these last 2 teams, you just don't see a quality squad like that every year in Skiza. So JP2, I mean, more often than not, that's a really good recipe that you have to compete and win a state championship. But you just run into a better team, and Hilton Head Christian Academy is, we've said the rich get richer for a while, but they continue to attract players from across, the statewide low country area. And we saw Mya come in and become an absolute star. And then they've got some homegrown talent as well, but it's just, it's been churning talent after talent. We've brought off so many names in these past 6 years, and definitely going to be challenged in the future with, the state of the team right now, but a lot of things can change between now and next fall. But congrats Hilton Head Christian, and congratulations as well to the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins, and especially our guest, Ben Frey.
Yes, our guest, Ben Frey, joins us now in studio. What is going on, man?
How's it going? Thank you guys for having me on.
It's been a minute since we had you in here, but you're all grown up now, man. We remember seeing you as a baby over at BA and falling in love with the Ben train.
Yeah.
And little Ben, Big Ben.
Time flew by. That's wild.
Unbelievable, right? How fast it went?
Yeah, it's crazy.
How was it 2024 already? I felt like it was just your freshman year.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff, but I saw your post on Instagram, and I've seen you kind of share that sentiment a couple of times now about sophomore year. Ben made a great decision, and that's when you decided to make the move over to Hilton Head Prep, and you come away with 2 state championships. And I'm sure that a big reason for the move was not related to basketball. I'm sure because you're, if I'm not mistaken, going to Clemson. So academics were a big piece for you. So just kind of take us through a little bit more insight into what you mean when you say sophomore year Ben made a great decision.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely much more than basketball, but I guess you could say that basketball was kind of the lead to get into it. But now, I mean, my whole family, we're living in Hilton Head now. We were in Beaufort, but we're in Hilton Head now. Yeah. And it's been one of the best transitions I could have ever made. Just the whole faculty at Hilton Head Prep, it's a really special place. But I couldn't be more blessed to be at Prep and finish out my career there. But it was really just, I had gotten into a connection with some of the players like Kane and JJ. And then, Sean and I came in, and Andrew came in that year. And, it was a great experience. And I'm just really glad I made the move, obviously.
Yeah, I think you made a heck of a call with that one. 2 state championships acquired over at Hilton Head Prep. And you were a phenomenal piece, and a big reason why you guys got 2 in a row. And especially, you were the complete package this season. By the way, you rebound the basketball. You've been, improving your shot, really putting every aspect of your game together this season. Describe more about your journey throughout these last 4 years. I mean, your time at Beaufort Academy what you took out of that, and then how you really found ways to step it up over these next few seasons on the way to your senior year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys know at Buford Academy, I was little point guard, and I've been a point guard my entire life. I'd say growing up, middle school, elementary school, I've always had the ball in my hands, just point guard. I've always been the point guard. And so making the transfer over to prep, we had Andrew, we've got Connor. Those are the two guards. And so I really had to just adapt to different roles. And I've just learned as much as I can, and I've been putting on as much weight and muscle as I can, just increasing the vertical and just, like you said, rebounding. And kind of this year I knew losing Sean, losing Kane, like they're great rebounders. We had Jason coming in, but we knew someone had to cover some slack with the rebounds. So that was one of the things I prided myself a lot on this year. And but yeah, I just honestly, it's just really just been adapting to new roles and different type of, even scoring wise. Like it was tough because I came from Buford Academy where I was one of the first couple options to score, and then sophomore year I was playing behind JJ, Kane, Sean, Andrew. It was tough finding my role, but once we found it, we all started to click, especially junior year, and we kind of just, I kind of just slowly found myself more and more in the system.
Yeah, and I think the system that you guys have played these last 2 years is really suited to you. I mean, you're such a precise passer. You love to cut and screen and roll and all. I mean, all the things that you guys do, it really feeds well into your game. So I'm sure that you felt pretty blessed when Coach Barron came in and brought that system in, because I mean, it's made for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think especially this year, and I've kind of grown to get the confidence in my career, but yeah, I try to step on the court, and it's all about your confidence and believing you're the best player on the court no matter what. But I also pride myself on making the right play every time. So if I catch the ball at the top of the key and I make a rip drive looking to attack, but a defender closes in on me and I see Billy in the corner, I'm going to pass it up to Billy, make the right play every time, and he'll knock down a three. Billy, Brendan, everybody. So, yeah.
You guys ran it offense so well this year, especially down the stretch. And I think the presence of Jason Ritchie was a huge factor. But then you were as well. I mean, you presented, as I said, so many different options of what you can, accomplish. Whether it's rebounding, passing, or finding your shot as well. And every role, every aspect you handled so well. And I think just the product of the work that you put into yourself and what the coaches you've had a couple of them, including working with Jerry Faulkner and then with Coach Barron most recently. But describe the coaches that you've had throughout your journey. What did you learn from Coach Faulkner, and then Barron coming in and really the similar system but new philosophies potentially. So tell me about what you took out of those experiences under those coaches and how it helped you become an even bigger role down the road into your senior season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's kind of wild because I've had 3 different coaches in the first 3 years of my high school career. So adapting to new systems, it was tough. And you guys saw that last year. That whole team, the whole prep team last year, it took us about 2 months to finally grasp the new system. And once we got it to click, it was clicking. And that's what helped us a lot this year. But yeah, I mean, Coach Faulkner, when I first transferred over, he just instills being a great man and just building us up as character and great men along with basketball. And then, yeah, I mean, he was awesome. We ran the flex with him and we were successful with it. And then, but yeah, when Coach Barron came in, he showed us a completely different game. And it seriously took us. I remember coming home from some practices the first couple of weeks, and I've always been pretty good IQ wise my career, but I thought I had never seen basketball before because the amount of different sets someone can bring, and it seriously did take our team at least a month or two to really grasp the offense. And yeah, it's been really awesome now that you get it down, but it was all about buying in. I think losing to Christian Academy that it was last year, that was probably the first time. Yeah, that was the main time that we really bought in as a team. And I think we went undefeated the rest of the season after that. And because we just bought into all the different systems and philosophies. But both just phenomenal coaches. I've been blessed to have amazing coaches, not even just high school, but even elementary school, middle school, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a bunch of good coaches to get a kid to the level you're at now, for sure. And you've definitely had some legendary ones along the way. But let's talk about this game on Saturday, man, because it was a scrap until it wasn't. You guys were down 15-13 early in the third quarter, and then they just didn't score anymore. 22-0 run to finish the game. I mean, what happened? Like, they just couldn't buy one.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the game you guys saw, but we came out in our zone, and it was it was a slugfest kind of in the first half, and we were sitting in our zone, and they weren't really penetrating. They were moving the ball side to side, and we couldn't. We were just, when we would get scored on, it kind of felt like we were getting almost lulled to sleep, just because they were having these minute-and-a-half long possessions. Because it's tough playing in those games without a shot clock, and
possessions get more.
It's hard watching them.
Yeah, I've played in a couple where teams have just stalled it, and it's really frustrating. But yeah, because you see the low score at the end of the game, and you're like, dang, like, did we really play like that? But
because you're taking a longer time possession, so you have 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Christian Academy was literally taking like minute and a half, minute and 45 consistently, and you're right, they would wait until somebody just kind of fell asleep and somebody could slip to the basket.
How did you guys flip the switch in the second half? What was the turning point early on that woke you guys up and just allowed you to dominate down the stretch and close out the championship?
It was really just trusting. I mean, I remember walking to the locker room, and obviously you don't want to be tied 11-11 in a slugfest like that going into the locker room, but we knew. I mean, we kind of just knew we had been there before, and I mean, we were getting some looks. I had a couple of drives to the basket that shots just weren't falling, and but I knew they were going to go in at some point, and so, but yeah, Coach Barron just kind of emphasized us, just keep trusting the offense. I mean, we're gonna get the shots to fall. We're gonna settle in. I think the first quarter we were definitely a little tight along. I mean, both teams where nobody was hitting, and it was just a weird kind of game. Legs were kind of falling asleep on defense, but yeah, we came out the second half and we just had a huge third quarter. It was really fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was really fun.
Yeah, I watched the whole game. I skimmed through the broadcast last night to cut some highlights there, and yeah, it was, once you guys turned it on, it was no looking back. And we've said all year, when you guys get up 6 or 8, I mean, it might as well be 30 because that's you can milk that clock down.
Yeah, I remember sitting. We were at the free throw line. I think Jason was shooting free throws, and we were up by 6, and then we were slowly getting up 10, and we're at the free throw line. I'm thinking they're taking minute and a half long possessions, not penetrating against the zone, and I'm like, they're gonna essentially just beat themselves here, because I mean we're gonna keep executing on offense. We're gonna do the right plays and get any bucket, and yeah, I mean, I just was kind of thinking like they're gonna end up beating themselves here, taking these long possessions as we just slowly build up the lead. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like we'll have a 10, 15 point lead, and sometimes it'll just feel like it's a 20-point lead just because we trust it.
Yeah, it's it's like nobody can score that many points against you in that period of time. If they could, they would have already. Like there were only a handful of teams that were athletic enough to really force you out of what you do. Or shoot you out of it, which I think Christian Academy Myrtle Beach maybe was capable of shooting you out of it. They just didn't hit them. They just didn't hit them on Saturday, which is
definitely
how it goes.
Yeah, that was a scouting report going into it. We knew they're a team that puts up 60, 70 points on any night. Yeah, they shoot the 3 well and they run in transition. So that was the key emphasis for us, is just stopping them. I think they had the Region Player of the Year on their team, and we held him. He had a couple of good looks, but we got fortunate that he was missing them. But yeah, you
guys were real. I could tell you guys were game plan for that, because you were real aggressive at the top of your zone. You made sure you closed out on the perimeter and didn't let them get open looks. The ones they took, they were settling for long, like Curry range stuff. That is tough. That's a low percentage. So no, it's a great game plan, well executed, and that's kind of how you sum up your season. It was a great game plan, well executed all year long.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, describe your time being a part of this program. You kind of alluded to it and how you run things and the seamless nature that we've seen offensively and the way you guys just battle that intensity and that drive on defense. So, just tell me about what is meant to you to be Hilton Head Prep Dolphin and, playing with, guys like JJ Hayes and Connor Campbell, Jason Britchie, of course, Kusana, who's now over playing college basketball at Chattanooga. What have been the key, takeaways from your time here, and what will you remember from playing with those young men?
Yeah, it's just, we've kind of slowly just instilled a culture here. I think, we just, the environment with the school is one thing. The school supports us and it means the world to us. And playing with those guys is just, it's awesome. Connor, all of these guys that I've played with, like we just look at each other and be like, we got to go out there and we just got to be a dog. Like we got to do whatever it takes. Everybody wants to score, but we got to make the right plays. We got to lock in on defense. Like if you really want to go out there and win, it's not about what you say. It's not what you say you're going to do. Like we just got to go do it. And
the team first mentality that you guys
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Passing up shot.
It requires that system requires it. You can't have selfishness in that system. It doesn't work. So, credit to you guys for really buying in and being team first and saying, flags fly forever, right? Banners hang forever. So they'll always remember you no matter what your stats were, because there's 2 banners up there in the field house, the house that Rich built, as I called it on the under the bus text thread today. I said they hang another banner in the house that Rich built.
He's the man for sure.
Did you get to know Coach Basirko a little bit?
I have, yeah. So he stepped down as athletic director the year I transferred over. So I wasn't at prep while he was the AD, but he's always around. I see him. He's at all the games, and I see him around along with other guys like Dr. Sulik and Coach Faulkner. They're always there. But I've built a good relationship with all those guys. They're just great faces to see around campus always.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome group of mentors that they've had there through the generations.
I wanted to ask you something related to Hilton Head Prep, since you been a part of it for a while. Your thoughts on the football hire, new football coach coming in, because I'm excited with the energy that's we're seeing from over there with his experience, and I think the way that he's going to recruit more guys to join his team. So. Have you heard any news about football and the direction you think it's going to be headed with the new coach?
Yeah, I haven't heard too much, but I'm sure he's going to be great. It's tough to recruit down here. You've kind of seen over the past couple of years, especially with some big time schools in Bluffton, like with Christian Academy being out there now. It's tough for them to get football players out here. But I've got full faith in Coach Hardy, our new AD, and Mr. Horgan. I know they made a great hire, and he's got a great resume. So I'm excited to see what they're
Doug
going to
McFadden recently named.
They've got a young team. They've got a young team. Their quarterback Wyatt, he's one of my good friends. He's only going to keep getting better. And they got a young team, a young offensive line. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, they played hard this year. They played really hard. And you mentioned Mr. Horgan and Sean Hardy. Both excellent hires, and I think the direction, the leadership of the school is in a really good place right now, and academically it seems like it's really excellent. Speaking of which, what are we studying at Clemson?
I don't really know too much yet. I'm still kind of thinking. I'm a big psychology guy. I kind of like psychology. I get it from my mom. She's the guidance counselor.
Me too.
She teaches psychology at prep, so I know she's gonna love me when she hears me saying this, but. Yeah, I like psychology, so I'm gonna see.
Sports psychology, mental mindset training. It's a little cottage industry that, and it's important, as you know. The mentality and the mindset is 99% of it. If you've got the right mindset, you can do a lot with whatever you're given. So, and you certainly have done that. You've been a walking mantra of work ethic and keep plugging and follow it where it leads you. So you trying to walk on at Clemson or play some club ball or anything? Is basketball still in your future?
I mean, I would love to. I mean, I'm going in, and I'm just going in as a student, but I mean, I'm going to take any opportunity that presents itself to me. I think I'm capable enough. I can work hard enough to play. Honestly, I could play there. I think I walk on, obviously, but I just whatever opportunity presents itself is kind of just where I'm going. I'm kind of just going in with an open mind.
Right on, man. That's a great way to do
it. I think you have developed a heck of a mindset, and what you've learned in basketball and what you've taken away and just how you've produced out there. That's going to help you no matter what field you decide to go in or what you decide to study. You're a motivated guy, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity to cover you and just following your journey from your young Ben trained days over at BA and now to being one of the big men on campus and now a two-time state champion. So certainly got to have some emotions as this chapter comes to an end, but I'm sure you're getting ready to enjoy the college life as well. Just a few months.
Definitely.
I really should have been prepared with the Ben train photo, but I wasn't. It's somewhere in the recesses of my computer. We had an awkward family photos thing going.
Definitely. That was. I still talk to him. He's doing really well. I still talk to Ben all the time, and he was wishing me happy birthday. It was my birthday on Saturday too, so that was it was a really special day. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
What a day, brother!
How
that's
was
as
that?
good as it gets.
Describe the feeling of winning it on your birthday. I mean, that's gotta be.
So this is super rare. It wasn't the first time I won a state championship on my birthday. Last year actually was. So I went 2 years in a row on my birthday and won the state championship. So yeah, I mean it's kind of surreal. I thought
let's play on Friday the year before, then they play on Saturday this year.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I mean, I thought you couldn't top a birthday like last year's, and then I guess I did this year. So I mean, it's wild, but yeah, it's all fun and games. It's kind of funny because the week leading up, all I'm thinking about is basketball, and I'll be driving home the day before, and I won't even realize that it's my birthday tomorrow because I'm just thinking about the game, and so then we kind of just celebrate the day after state, and so, but yeah, it's a fun time.
That's unreal, dude. Well, be prepared for the rest of your birthdays to be very disappointing because I think you peaked on birthdays.
Yeah, I probably have.
Well, hey, man, it's been an absolute pleasure following your career and getting to know you and speaking with you tonight. And we're proud of you and proud of all you guys bringing home a state title and wish you the best and can't wait to see what you do next, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys for all the coverage over the years and having me on tonight.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right. Have a good one, guys.
Ben Frey from the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins state championship team. Man, that was a pleasure. That was a lot of fun. That was a full circle experience right there. That was cool.
Yeah. Not very often you get to cover, well, not been your while. I mean, I've been able to cover players throughout their full high school careers, and Taquet Hayward was one of them, and now Ben Frey. I mean, and to see him transfer, from one school to the other and really find himself at Hilton Head Prep at this new home. And obviously he did great at Buford Academy, and he was one of the key producers and key scorers in the team. But I think things really opened up for him, the way he contributed and so many different facets and the team bonding and the energy there. I thought it was just a great fit for him. And he really thrived as it went on. And I don't think they win that state championship potentially without his contributions this year. One of the most underrated players in the entire Low Country this year, it's Giza. I mean, he made some incredible boards, and he's just so confident on the floor and just knows the game really well and just has the extra implemented knowledge to get the ball to the right guy or make the right play at a certain moment in the game. And that's kind of what they preach over there, Hilton Head Prep. And I just think it was an exact fit for the style that he plays and how he to contribute as a player. And man, just a great kid. I mean, just a pleasure to talk to. A great student as well, who's going to do some big things over at Clemson, and cannot wait for him to him to enjoy that college experience and hopefully play some more ball. I mean, he certainly has the tools in his toolbox on the court to hold his own there and compete at the club level, or who knows, maybe find an opportunity to walk on.
Yeah, or I could definitely see him going the route of student manager, transitioning into coach with that sports psychology background. I mean, he's the kind of person, the kind of player you want to see become a coach, because he plays the game the right way, plays hard all the time, has the right mentality, right attitude, all those things that you look for in a player who becomes players who become leaders often become good coaches, because they know what it looks like to lead, and they know what it looks like to have leaders on their team. So they know how to instill those qualities in their players. So, I could definitely see that. He's intelligent enough to make a lot more money than he would make coaching. But so it ain't all about that. It's about finding something that you're passionate about, that's purposeful and utilizes your skill set to the best of your ability. And I could see him being a tremendous coach someday, because of the quality of coaching he's had, and combined with the attitude, the acumen, and if he goes into psychology, I mean, it's a huge part of it. So I love the kid. Really proud of him. And
there's so much in sports that relate to psychology and the mental side of the game, and how to impact athletes. It's enormous, a huge part of how games and seasons are decided.
I mean, the game's 90% mental and the other half's physical.
Right.
Wasn't that what Yogi said? He was absolutely right.
Yeah.
But let's shout out some sponsors. The MVP sponsors of LowcoSports start with Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports, and my wife. She's with the Keller Williams of the Low Country, the new Anchor Home Group, and she would love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor in the best place right here in the LowcoSports coverage area. It's the best place to be. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. And Homegrown Home Inspections is the official home inspector of LowcoSports. Jan Lucas and his team are the best in the business. In fact, Jan just popped by my house today to check out my HVAC unit for me. That's what good friends do, and good sponsors. If you're buying a home or if you're building one, you need to call on Homegrown Home Inspections. Their phase inspections are definitely the way to go. If you're building a new home, make sure that it is built correctly every step of the way, so you're making a great investment. Mickelson Law Firms, the official real estate closing attorney of LowcoSports, and our original sponsors. Since 2017, Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickelson team have been supporting us, and we hope you'll support them by calling on them for all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. Hospice Care of the Low Country is the official hospice care of LowcoSports and the only not-for-profit hospice care in Southern Beaufort County, and they provide all kinds of services: hospice care, palliative care, free grief counseling. They're adding mental health services, and they do it all without requiring people to come out of pocket, because they raised funds through great events like the Yacht Hop coming up May 18th at Wexford. Limited tickets available, so you might want to grab a sponsorship so that you can make sure that all your people get to go enjoy the Yacht Hop and support Hospice Care of the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. We're going to be having Mya Hutchinson joining us here shortly, from the 6-time state champion Hilton Head Christian Academy girls basketball team. Unbelievable. But while we're waiting, we can go through some scores that I've tracked down from tonight. Patrick Henry baseball, they kicked it off with a 19-6 win over Andrew Jackson. Forrest Ferry went 3 innings, 1 hit, 6 strikeouts. He was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Andy Searles was 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Rye Brunson was 2 for 4 with a double. Spencer Kelleher, the big cat, was 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. And Nate Corley had 4 RBIs, the deer hunter.
You think they're ready to try to run it back? I think so.
Yeah, I think they are. And they're not friendly with Andrew Jackson either, so they didn't mind running up the score on them tonight, I imagine. Looking for some lacrosse scores, girls lacrosse scores still, but South Effingham beat Beaufort 13-9, and boys lacrosse, Beaufort's 0-4, but remember they lost 17-16 in overtime to Bluffton the other night. So they are, they've had some tough losses already, and they've played some tough teams too. They played Greenville and James Island, which are both really strong. Girls soccer, some interesting results. Bridges Prep 7, Patrick Henry 1. Yeah, you had one you were at. I'm gonna segue to that. Bridges Prep 7, Patrick Henry 1. Beaufort Academy 14, Polaris Tech 0. Kylie Good, remember we had her on Lowco FC last year. She had 8 goals. 8 goals in the opener. Battery Creek boys beat Hilton Head Prep 1-0. Beaufort Academy boys beat Polaris Tech 4-1. Andrew Butterfield had 2 goals. Grady Lamb and Isaac Leslie each had 1. And then you were at Hilton Head Prep for
Donnybrook
soccer Donnybrook.
that was a heck of a way to open up the spring season. My God,
it was
tremendous game. I was impressed by the way Beaufort played and the speed they showed out on the field. They were able to get behind that Hilton Head Prep back line and do some damage. And despite Caladondo pocketing a pair, picking up right where she left off from that incredible playoff run, if you remember what she did back in April, and they tore it up on the way. I think she got like a couple of hat tricks, or she was going bonkers in that playoff.
Yeah, she scored a ton of goals in the playoff tournament.
But she's back. She had 2, but it wasn't enough to beat Bluffton or beat Beaufort because Selena Duncan coming up clutch with 3 minutes to go, bearing one inside the far post, and really you saw it coming because the Eagles were finding ways to establish some ball control on the attacking third on the Hilton Head Prep end, and Dolphins just weren't able to contain them. They had a couple of really good looks. One went off the post, and then finally Duncan was able to beat the Prep goalkeeper with 3 minutes left to equalize and end the game in a 2-2 draw. So, I mean, terrific battle between Hilton Head Prep and Beaufort. I got to say, the way the Eagles hung in this match, it really looked like was Prep once Caladondo scored that second one to make it 2-1. That I thought Prep was going to run with it. They missed a penalty kick in the second half, which would have put up by 2. But credit Beaufort for hanging in there, playing some solid defense as they hung around. And when they got a couple of opportunities to counter and really use that speed, go the other way, they capitalized. And certainly the Eagles lost a lot, including the big one, the goalkeeper, Quinn Wilson, who, I mean, one of the best goalies we've seen come through here in the Low Country, now tearing it up at the college level from what I heard. But, her replacement hung in there after that last Caladondo goal went off her hands into the net. She made like 4 or 5 quality saves in that second half to keep it 2-1. And then the Eagles were able to find the tying goal. So what a soccer game. What a way to start off spring sports. Really excited to see how both those two teams do. And Beaufort's in a region where I think they will be able to compete. You have a couple. I mean, you got Hanahan, Philip Simmons, solid teams, Battery Creek. I expect Beaufort to compete and play well in that region in 3A. So obviously it's 1 game sample size, but they're fast, they're quick, and they can move the ball. And when the Duncan's who's really grown now a junior, she's really started to find a nice scoring touch. And then the other goal scorer, her last name I believe, Gianna Pacheco. So 2 juniors rather, who are starting to find some scoring ability. So I like that Beaufort team a lot. I've only seen them once, and we'll see how they continue to develop. But that's a group that could be dangerous this year. So keep an eye on Beaufort, and then Hilton Head Prep will be fine. Dondo is incredible. Ashley Brothers is a freshman, and she looks like she's been there for 5 years playing. I mean, just amazing. Yeah. The young players that are still over there, Hilton Head Prep.
Who was the keeper for Beaufort? Because she made some nice saves. Did you get the name of the keeper for Beaufort?
Yeah. I look. I had a roster earlier, see if I can find it.
She made some nice saves.
Yeah.
And that was the question, right? Because like Quinn was so good, and you weren't sure what they would have. But she appears to be really solid, so that's a good sign for them, because that was the only concern, is like they've been good, but she made them a lot better, and so you were afraid of with the drop off in goal. But she didn't give up cheapies tonight. She was stopping some tough shots.
The Caladondo goal she should have had, but that was one of those, like we talked about baseball, lost it in the sun. I think the sun was blaring her face, and I just couldn't find a way to hold on to it. But she probably wishes she could have had that one. But even so, she made a couple of big saves in the second half that really could have extended the Prep lead. So give credit to her as well, and the way Buford played as a whole, that team. So I'm excited for soccer season. May Rivers had a couple of games already. They had a tournament, I believe. They've been busy. Misa's working them hard. And
they had tough. They had some tough matches. They drew with Riverside and lost to Stratford and Waccamaw.
Speaking of the May River Sharks, huge congratulations, Jacob Madeiros, who I believe just got his first national cap.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Very cool. With Bermuda, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
I always go Bermuda, Bahamas. Pretty mama, because I'm that old. So then I trick myself and can't remember if it's Bermuda or Bahamas, but I'm pretty sure it's Bermuda that he played with, which is so cool. Boys. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Yeah, Kokomo. I'm aging myself big time. And also, speaking of May River Sharks, we mentioned that we had the 3 state champs on last night. 3 wrestling state champs from the Lowco. Gunnar DeGroat, 2-time state champ from Battery Creek, won it at 175 in 3A. Jada Lawrence, 2-time girls state champ from Bluffton High School. She won it at 145. And Houston Rudisill did something that we don't think anybody's ever done around here. Well, I mean, people may have done it. They may have won it as a freshman, but he's got a chance to do something no one has done, which is be a 4-timer.
Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. He's a chance to win them all.
Yeah. He gave up a takedown in the first period, and then he got a reversal in the third period to tie it at 2. And then he was working, trying to get a turn at the end. Needed to get back points to avoid going to overtime. And we'll watch the remainder here. We watched the whole match last night on the ground.
By the way, that was an awesome show. The Lowco grind. I mean, just talking with those 3 and them giving some amazing analysis about their careers and opening up. Jada was all 3 of them were outstanding. Yes.
There it is. He gets the turn. Oh, no, he didn't get it there. He only got a 2 count. No points. Got to go for it again. Time's running down. And now he's got it. There it is. 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to see Ashley Powell's fist come in.
Yeah, let's go.
His freshman got him a gold.
How about that?
I got to tell you, the first night I laid eyes on Houston Rudisill. I'm not exaggerating here. I saw him warming up before their duel against Battery Creek earlier this season. First time I saw him this season, and I went, "Whoa, I've never seen that guy before. That's a wrestler." Like you could just see, and I watched him warm up, and I was like, "Oh man, who is this guy?" And then somebody told me he was a freshman, and I said, "Oh, he's going to be a 4-time state champ."
Sometimes
I seriously, the night I saw him, I said he could be a 4-time state champ, and then we saw throughout the season.
Now he's got the hardest one down.
He got the hardest one, although the second hardest seems to be junior year. And I think it's because you get 2, you get a little relaxed. And a lot of times you also hit a growth spurt and you jump up about 3 weight classes, 4 weight classes. And all of a sudden, instead of being a 126 pounder or something, you're a, 157 pounder, or you go from 132 to 175 and you're wrestling these big old jokers, and you got to learn a whole new style of wrestling. And I don't think that'll happen to Houston. His body has already matured a good bit. He looks like a man already. So I don't think he's going to gain a lot of weight and really like size out of being competitive. He's already built like a truck. So even if he gets big, he's going to be okay. And we saw that with Gunnar. Gunnar got big. I mean, he went from 157 to he started the season at 190 and then dropped down to 175 and just walked through 175. But it didn't really, he shot up. He got tall and thin, but it didn't really impact him at all. He was still just as dominant. So you never know how guys' bodies develop. That's the one thing that can kind of throw them for a loop, especially as they get later in their career. But I think he's got a real shot. And we saw JJ Peace from Cane Bay do it this Saturday, become a 4-time state champ. He's going to wrestle at American University. So just outside our coverage area, but worthy of a shout out. And then also worthy of a shout out outside our coverage area, Bethune-Bowman boys basketball beat Cross tonight to go to the 1A state championship. That's a team that both Whale Branch and Bridges Prep split with. So when we said like talent wise, they were right there with the top of 1A. We weren't kidding. Like
you said, I mean, it could be a top two where they are different spectrums where they go out early or they go all the way to the finals. And unfortunately, it didn't go the way we wanted to see it. But credit to Bethune-Bowman for what they did, and getting hot at the right time and fending off a really good cross team. I mean, it's just crazy the parity in 1A that we've talked about a lot, especially boys basketball. There's so many talented teams so close to each other, and that made it really unpredictable to really see how the playoffs will unfold. And man, you just wish a couple of things could have gone the other way for these Bridges Prep and Whale Branch teams. But sometimes it's it's all matchup driven. We talked about it in March Madness, which is coming up, and just playoff basketball in general. It's so much dictated by who are you matching up against. The advantages and disadvantages to who you're playing. And that's why, things can change based on how the bracket is set up. I just think the matchups didn't go in the best favor for some of our teams. And sometimes that's how it goes this time of year in postseason basketball. 1 game sample size, things can go many different ways.
Yep, it can go sideways. Yep. And then another fun thing going on in the area today, USCB hosting the women's Old Field Intercollegiate, and Sand Sharks had a good day. They're in second place. They are 6 shots behind SCAD, nice. Which they just beat SCAD in a head-to-head match recently. So you'd like to think that they can make that up. You can see they had 2 players play really well, McLean Neal and Ashley Mead. And then the others, I would think, would think they can improve upon that. So, hopefully one of those scores comes down, and at least one. And if you can get both of them down into single digits over par, then you ought to be able to make up that ground and maybe keep that hardware at home. And looks like nice. Neil's 3 shots off the lead. Ariana Castro from SCAD leading the way. So,
yeah, still an opportunity for Neil if she can put together on the last day. And 6 shot deficit really isn't that much when you think about it in this team competition. So if they can put it all together and shoot consistently low scores and continue to improve what they did, if they can beat what they did and negative split it like we say cross country track, if you shoot a couple strokes better than you did the day before, and depends on what the other team does. You can't control what your opponent does. That's the thing about golf. You just have to wait and see what everybody else does. But if you put yourself in the position to win, you'll have a nice solid chance. So, it's an interesting game, but especially since you play sometimes separate, you play with other players from other teams. It's a very, very different kind of team sport, but still you're trying to get it done for your guys, and that's motivates you from within sometimes. So, that's what I love about it, and we have a ton of golf coming up. This time of year when you go into March, there's a lot of competitions around here, both college and
There's a lot of collegiate events. It's a fun more time. And more. Colleton River has a big one coming up with the Michigan State hosts, and USCB's women are playing in that Low Country Invitational at Moss Creek that Rosie Jones and them put on last year. That was a great event. So there's going to be a bunch of great tournaments coming up, and there's also, I think next week is the big Low Country Invitational or whatever they call it, boys tournament that has the boys tournament that has basically everybody
next
in it.
The week after is Darius Rucker, your collegiate Lowco.
Right.
That's what I mentioned. Yeah.
The Low Country Invitational is what I was thinking of. It's the 4th and 5th. Day 1 at May River Golf Club in Palmetto Bluff, and then day 2 at Berkeley Hall. Really prestigious courses. Pretty cool.
One of the favorite events that I've covered has been this, this intercollegiate women's tournament, the Darius Rucker Intercollegiate, which will be at Long Cove the week after. March 4th through 6th. So I guess that is next week, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Next week. Yeah. It's almost March, almost my birthday. But I don't know what's happened with Mya. We were in communication with Mya, and we've not been able to get her. So hopefully we'll be able to get Mya on here tonight. But if not, we'll talk to her another night and reflect on that big state championship for the Eagles. It was an impressive showing by HHCA. They didn't shoot it especially well in the first half, and that allowed. And you got to credit JP2's defense for making it tough on them, and that allowed JP2 to hang in. But once they got going, once the guards really got in the flow in the second half and second quarter, and then again in the fourth quarter.
As I said on the Buford's Own broadcast, it was a Mya Hutchinson show, and then Devin Yard sprinkled in a bit of her own excellence as well. Then Morgan was CC on the boards, but Mya really spearheaded the charge as this game got along. And how awesome was it to see this one final event in the Cove after covering USCB all year? Then once again, we thank Quinn Monahan and USCB for allowing this event to happen here in the Low Country, which made it look at the crowd, and it just made everything extra special to have, because they weren't able to win one year before in the Loco. So that was cool. And then JP2, they found ways to battle. Brady Mahoney was excellent. Yeah. She really showed why. She's a 1,000-point career scorer, which she just reached the game before. But Devin Yard, explosive play with the HHCA guards. To Mya, just no answer for her down the stretch in that second half. They did a good job defending them in the first half. JP2 found ways to hang around, but there was just only so much you could do to stop them, I guess, because they found ways to hit their shots and find good opportunities to pass the ball, and then the rebounding and the hard-nosed play of Morgan Scott. They were able to control the glass, and JP2 just wasn't able to get enough boards, and especially when you have players like not just Morgan, but Mya was getting some rebounds. Devin, and the speed of Devin Yard in transition. When you make a mistake against Hilton Head Prep, they're going to make you pay. Yeah. Those guards that get out in transition are just going to find ways to score easily, and it's a recipe for disaster when you play them and you're not on the same page. You just can't make many mistakes against them. They're just a really sound team. They've got some shooters when they're on. They are just so tough to stop. And just you got the slashers, you got the rebounders. You got just so many weapons that can hurt you. Like somebody will have the opportunity to beat you when everybody's out on the floor like that. And it seemed like every championship game, Mya finds a way to stand out from the crowd and knock down some shots every time.
She's got ice in her veins, and she loves it. She loves the ball.
Loves the moment. I mean, some kids do.
She does. She doesn't shy away from it either. I mean, she's the kid who went viral out on the circuit. She's the kid who brings. She wants the smoke, and she's been a blast to watch, man. And she's so fun to talk to too. Like every time I see her, it's just a huge grin, and then we chop it up, and we're laughing, and she's just a great kid. Look at, she's having a blast out there.
Yeah, she's having fun.
I love kids who look like they're having fun playing the game. Like it's business, but it's supposed to be fun, and you're supposed to be having fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy it when they look
those students are having some fun too.
Oh my gosh, both ends.
It was something that I haven't seen this a skis. I mean, it was incredible.
It was unreal.
That level.
Well, I mean, you don't usually get a setup where each student section gets a baseline, so in a high school setting. So it was really cool to have that, and the fans pretty much divided the gym in half. Like all the Hilton Head Christian fans sat on one side and all the JP2 fans sat on the other, and it was a hype environment. It was just incredible. And I also wanted, I just want to give credit to Karen Floyd as well, and the program that she's built over there at JP2, because they've been consistently strong, and they've been overshadowed by being in the same region as HHCA this whole time. But man, they closed the gap. They have closed the gap over the years, and they've got more coming back. than anybody else in the Skeeza region anyway. Because Termini is good, and Melnick played really well the other night. Majorkowicz played really well the other night. They've got some young talent that is going to be, and I think they've got some more coming up too.
Yeah, and that's really the key, because it's hard to replace a player like Brady Mahoney when you have a 1,000-point scorer, when you have someone who can put the ball in the bucket almost at will, and you just rebound the ball to the level of an elite player at the high school level. And now you're going to see what you have from some of these other role players who are going to step up. Casey Graves, another senior who will be, she's a great defender. She gets knockdown shooter. That's going to be a big loss as well. But as you said, I like Melnick's game. Termini had some nice sparks in that state championship game as well. Savannah Trott, she's going to be back, and she passed the ball great several moments of that game and provides some nice scoring depth as well. So they're going to return a good amount of key producers from last season, and that's going to make them dangerous, especially against Hilton Head Christian County team that's going to lose a lot. But on their end, give credit to Anna Kate Taylor, the sophomore. On that couple of highlights ago, she made a great pass down court, and she really found ways to do her role really well, to perform her role consistently at a strong basis, performing for the top three who really have gotten to shine. But Macy Langhouse has been, a key player as well, alongside Anna Kate Taylor. So you have to have those role players, those supporting cast, and just got to give credit to them, because you win as a team. It's a full team effort, and they put a great game as well.
My girl Caitlin Jackson is a heck of an athlete too. She's basketball is kind of new to her. She hasn't been playing it for a long time, but she played key roles for them. She got a lot of good rebounds. She played really good defense, and she's just a great athlete. She's a really good tennis player, great volleyball player, great family too. So, but no, it was a heck of a game. It was a heck of a night. It was a heck of a basketball season. I mean, we had 3 state champs.
Great way to culminate the
Cross taking the title in the 1A girls was awesome to see. First year program. We had Fish and Doc on the other night to celebrate that. That was a great time. I saw Fish and Doc over there watching the game the other night. Hung out with them a little bit. I love the banner.
That's a flex, making the banner and then just laying it out there after they win.
Well, it's funny because I saw Matt Smith walk in and he had a banner rolled up in his arm, and I didn't even think about what it was, but now it's obvious what it was. But no, that was a clutch. That was clutch flex. I also liked Rob had championship belts for the big three, the H2 Lowco Legends champion belts.
Oh,
those were pretty
awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, those were
and
dope.
I got to see all three after the game, and got to see the belts that they're wearing. That was cool. I didn't know who got them for them, but that's awesome.
Yeah, they said H2 Lowco Legend. H2 Lowco Legend.
Hey, love it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Varsity sponsors of LowcoSports: DDS Web Design, designing, hosting, and maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits that get results. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, call on DDS at ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Colleton, Jasper, and Hampton counties, and they've been doing it for years. They jumped on with us this year to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco. Reverence Wrestling Club is the official wrestling sponsor of LowcoSports and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. Check out last night's episode for our in-depth interviews, really conversation, not so much interviews, but in-depth conversation with the 3 state champs from the Lowco, Gunnar DeGroat, Jada Lawrence, and Houston Rudisil. It was awesome stuff.
I love just all the inside
George Dixon.
Just hearing
about. Well, yeah, there is a lot of that. It's pretty in the weeds as far as wrestling goes, but hopefully it's easy to follow for a more casual audience as well. But more importantly, just to get some insight into these kids and the intense grind that their sport is, and the tremendous people that they are. I mean, they were all just awesome interviews. So, Yeah, go check it out. Reverence Wrestling Club. Thanks for making it possible. And Dr. Ambrose Cole, the official chiropractor of LowcoSports. He's at Rooted Living Wellness, and I get to go see him on Wednesday. He'll have me feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. And he can do the same for you over at Rooted Living Wellness, Dr. Ambrose Cole. Wes, what else you want to talk about? I was hoping that Mya was going to come through tonight, but she must have had some difficulties on her end.
We mentioned stuff last night on the Sand Check Rewind, but of course this show is for the casual audiences who you might not watch all the niche podcasts. So, what a way to cap off the women's basketball season, the home slate. They still have a couple more games left on the road, and they still have a real shot now. They got a real shot of getting into the Peach Belt Conference tournament after what they did against Flagler. What a game. Absolutely intense basketball to finish off that home slate. And, man, overcoming so much adversity when you think about what this women's team did. And how about some of those depth players that really came up big down the stretch to get it done? And, of course, one of the stars in Michaela Primo finishing it off at the free throw line. But, man, Madison Self, what a warrior that she was in this ball game. And especially when one of your key guys goes down, you got to have a lot more other players elevate themselves and shine down the stretch in a close game, and they just find a way these last four to string together some wins. And it's been really fun to see this Sharon Versip team that just continues to overcome all of the setbacks that have gone against them, and now they're in this thing for real, which is just amazing. Awesome to see for a first-year program.
Yeah, I mean, they were sitting at 1-11, and before that, they were 0-whatever going into that Aiken game and pulled out a close one. I mean, it felt like, it felt like 0-16 was like on the table at one point, and then now here we are at 5-11, and it's an incredible credit to the coaching staff and to the kids who easily could have, just kind of gone through the motions the rest of the season and been like, yeah, it's our first year, we suck. But no, that was never an option. They didn't make excuses for the injuries. They kept playing, and kids stepped into roles and fought to get into those roles. I mean, Tanaya Bowman, she fought her way into a bigger role. She earned it. Madison Self, same. She was playing a few minutes a game early, and by the end of the year, she's playing significant minutes, playing way beyond herself in a position she has no business playing. Like, she's a 3 and she's playing like the 5 sometimes, and having to body up these big old girls, and she's beaten to like shreds. She's been beaten all up, but she goes out there and battles every game, and then puts on her walking boot after the game and gets ready for the next one. I just love the warrior mentality this team has taken on, and it really makes me excited for the future when they're really like fully, staffed as far as the personnel goes. And I've also loved getting to know Lydia Gattosi sat and did color commentary with me. She was penciled in to be the point guard coming in, D1 transfer from Canisius, and she tears her ACL, and then same for her backcourt mate. So I've heard her talk about, and we talked on Saturday about her experience this year sitting on the bench. She's never sat the bench. She's always been a star player, right? And she said, well, one of the things I told coach before the season, before I got hurt, was that this season I wanted to improve my IQ. And I've definitely gotten a chance to do that.
Next to a legendary coach mind of Sharon Versip, who, has become one of the best and most notable coaches in the college scene over the years, or with her time over there at Purdue. And what a find here from USCB to, bring her over here to the Lowco, to the Cove, and what an opportunity to just learn and be a sponge and absorb that all that information throughout the entire women's basketball season. And that's just going to make the IQ better, which is going to make her even that much better on the court. And just adding her into the mix of all these players returning, I mean, you just got to be excited for the future, and especially for what they can do these last 2 games and continuing to write.
I can't even imagine how valuable it is as a coach to be able to have your starting point guard next season sit next to you all season.
Yeah.
You never want her to get hurt, but
Right.
like if she had, you know, back in the day when you had to sit out a year when you transferred,
it's like
if it had been a situation like that, that's a great situation.
Patrick Mahomes in his first year in Kansas City, like wasn't he like just learning from the sideline and absorbing info?
Maybe even 2 years behind Alex Smith. I don't remember. But no, and Aaron Rodgers was the same way, and Jordan Love was the same way. It's worked in a lot of places. Tom Brady was the same way. You know, it can work well, but I think sitting next to the coach, especially, and just absorbing and in basketball and in that system, absorbing the way she thinks and the way she sees the game is going to be really incredibly valuable to USCB next year. And I'm really excited, especially to be able to see some of those guards work off the ball instead of on the ball, because Gutozzi's there. That's going to be fun too. The men are out of conference tournament contention, but I feel like that doesn't tell the story of their season. They were so competitive in an ultra tough league. It was they're on the cusp, and I think they're just
three or four games they lost in a row that were decided by one possession or fewer, or one possession. It's tough, but then again, they've been in every game and they've been right there. I mean, they could have one shot goes the other way, they could have won 4 in a row. Which I mean, obviously your couple have to go in the other direction, but I mean, it's just to say that they're right there and they're competing with the best Peach Belt Conference teams in year one. So you got to be impressed with how they've handled themselves. And I've said this a couple of times, but Ron Fudala has been the man. He is awesome. What a great guy to help build a new squad, and because his energy, it just jumps out of the arena or out of the gym. His energy is infectious, and I've just really loved to talk with him and just hear how he coaches his guys and the way he interchanges them and has all these quick line changes, if you will, with how he has different groups of players sub in now all the time and mixes and matches. And certainly the last a couple of guys who, as you mentioned, you thought they were going to be important factors and underrated losses to this team, but that's a really exciting group. And man, it's just, you kind of wish a couple of them could have turned the other way and give them a chance to really compete for one of those spots down the stretch. But even so, I think there's a lot of momentum to build in these last 2 games. You want to finish strong. You want to finish out with some W's. I think that Augusta, the 4 overtime game, wasn't it?
The 4 overtime was Columbus State.
Yeah, that's who they play on Wednesday. They're at Columbus State.
Yeah. Sorry, you cut out. I'm having gremlins over here, and I cut out for a second and couldn't hear you. But the gremlins have been getting after me the last few minutes. You've been cutting out every now and then. But Columbus State, that was a wild game. Almost everyone at home was. They had some crazy games, and then the Aiken game on the road was insane. Tyler Johnson hits the runner at the buzzer after Kavan tied it up. But I mean, it felt so much more like big time college basketball than I anticipated. It felt like I covered Big 12 basketball for a season, and I went to the Big 12 tournament, the NCAA tournament. Like, it's not that, but it's not that far off from it.
It felt like
from a spectator standpoint, it feels pretty much like that. It's that high caliber and speed of play. And I mean, there are SportsCenter top 10 highlights every single night.
Number 0, man, he had like a dozen of them this year, if not even more, flying down those dunks, especially at home. He got the crowd.
Yeah, it was unreal. I'm gonna try to find some highlight. I think USCB may have put out a highlight reel. Thought I saw it somewhere, but I don't know where it went. I thought they had put out a reel of the season somewhere, but I'll have to track it down sometime. But I can't wait to see like a full season highlight reel, because it's going to be absolutely insane. because there were 4, 5, 6 like crazy highlights every game. It seemed like in the guys' games, and the women's games were exciting too. I mean, really intense play, quality basketball. The 3-point shooting, and both men's and women's blows my mind. Like the number of kids who are just lethal from 3 is impressive. And it was a blast. I love calling the games with Coach Basirko and Coach Drafts and Red Bruin. I love looking across the court and seeing you over there doing stats and, seeing Bracken doing his thing and working with all the students on the broadcast. It was a great time. I'm really pumped for the future of USCB
really cool
basketball.
For you as someone who was at USCB with the sports information department and now, coming back to do what was, as you said, one of your visions and one of the things that you're hoping to see down the road, and just awesome to see it come full circle.
It feels good to say you're watching the Sandshark Game Day Network again, because I created the Sandshark Game Day Network, and now I get to go on there and say it again, and it's way bigger and better than the little pilly thing I created. But I'm really proud of the progress they've made out there, and excited about the upward mobility that basketball gives them. I mean, it's brought so many people on campus, especially the other night, Hilton Head Christian and JP too. I mean, they probably never had that many local high school students on campus at once ever. That was an unbelievable number of kids on campus, and they got to see what the campus looks like. It's a beautiful place. You got Chick-fil-A on campus. You got, the rec center. There's also the gym. The Cove is incredible. There's weight room right there, but people are peeking in the weight room. It's really cool to see it grow up, and I've watched it grow from a seed as far as athletics go. And then that was the other cool thing the other night was Dr. Upshaw was there for the final game in the Cove. And Dr. Upshaw, she was the math dean at the USCB when it was still a 2-year school, and she became the chancellor and led them to gaining baccalaureate status and becoming a 4-year school. And it was her vision to have athletics there and make it a more traditional university setting. And it's, to be able to interact with her that night and as she's seeing kind of a vision come to reality too was pretty awesome. But no, I'm excited for the future of USCB athletics. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for spring sports in the Lowco. It's a good time of year.
Especially that softball team over
like getting outside.
That almost knocked off the number 1 Division II team in the nation in North Georgia.
That was a heartbreaker.
That was
heartbreaker.
Oh man, baseball team. A couple of tough ones. They all 2-run games that let some leads slip away. But I'm excited. I really enjoyed calling those games over the weekend, and going to be another fun one coming up in just a few days. A couple of Peach Belt, the guys, Georgia Southwestern, the ladies, I believe the Lander for softball. But
Lander's coming in for softball. Yep.
Should be
Georgia Southwestern is number 1 team in the conference, so that's going to be
going to be uphill battle for
no
baseball.
Easy task.
Yeah,
no easy task. But hopefully our guy JP, Josh Patterson, May River Shark.
He was doing it all. Not only was he pitching on Friday, but he was the DH on Sunday, and he drove in a run.
He's raking. He's 1 for 4, but he can rake. I love JP. Great dude. Hey, the Lowco Booster Club helps make all this possible. And the Lowco Booster Club consists of Court Lifestyle Pros. Lowco natives Daniel and Debbie Court want to help bring you home to Hilton Head Island through Charter One Realty. Call on Court Lifestyle Pros. Revive Rehab, women's health and pelvic floor physical therapy. Great place for postpartum care. So if you have a friend who is having a baby, a great gift might be a gift card to Revive Rehab, women's health and pelvic floor physical therapy. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets. They have a great showroom over on Argent Boulevard where you can check it all out. So go see Bill and Mandy. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not, but even better if you do need a haircut. Conversation is always great. Haircut's even better at Jay's Barbershop. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. They got the floors so clean, your feet will thank you. And Chris Odom is the man. One of the coolest guys I know. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Go see Max and the team over in Belfair Town Village and get juiced up. That's the Lowco Booster Club. You can join for just $50 a month.
The season's over now for wrestlers.
Yeah. They can go replenish their hydration. Yeah, because that can be an issue, definitely, when you've been cutting. But they should be all good now. They're all eating and drinking like they're on vacation now that the season's over. Unless they're, going somewhere else, because they're always wrestling. I swear some of those kids wrestle you literally every weekend.
But,
it is a sport that you can't really overdo it, so that's good.
Yeah. So now that we're doing a Monday through Friday Lowco Lowdown, I was thinking we'll stick with the teams of the week on Monday, so that will cover everything that's gone on the weekend, and then we'll do just a couple of different shout outs on the other days, players or other teams that deserve some
love.
Good. But yeah, so we'll do our normal teams of the week, and this I got pretty easy because we have a couple of recently crowned state champs, and you got to start with the 6-time champions, the Hilton Head Prep Eagles dynasty. I mean, we already said that years ago, but I mean, and I said this on the broadcast with Buford's Own. Once again, thanks for Javon Livingston helping to set this up, and I got to work with one of your buds as well, former Hilton Head Christian Academy class of 19.
Yeah, Max Araj. I just met with Max. I just met Max. He reached out about potentially getting involved, and we had a meeting on what was it? Thursday or Friday, and on Saturday he was on the air with you guys on Buford's Own, and I think we may have him on the air for UICB baseball pretty soon, and we'll definitely have him on the air here with Team Lowco real soon.
Absolutely, we'd love to talk with him and help him become a part of what we do here, because I was impressed with what he did, especially those post-game interviews with both coaches, but just coordination for a team that has continued to raise the bar and become the gold standard. And what I was going to say on the broadcast, and what I did say in the broadcast was, doesn't matter what league you play in, high school league, SCISA, doesn't matter what classification you play in, 6 in a row, you've done something. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. And they don't play in a weak classification. It's not the strongest in the state, but it's SCISA 3A is there's some competition in there. You saw JP2 went toe to toe with some public schools, and Hilton Head Christian Academy could play with anybody in the area, and everybody's always known that. They're legit, and I think they would have won it. That team would have won it in a lot of classifications over the years. But yeah, 6 in a row. There's just no margin for error. It's so much to go right, and they've been the standard. So we'll see if anybody can step up and take that mantle.
There's another girls team that I wish I would have loved to choose. I left it out for you if you went. There's
I'm taking it. But I'll take cross girls for my girls team. State champs. It was a first year program, so you just don't know. And then they had a coaching change early on. Fish came in. It was a little tumultuous at times, and but they just kept winning. They finished like 26-4, 27-4, something like that.
Girl, JP knocking down some shots like it's Davidson, Steph Curry.
PJ knocked down some big ones. Yeah, she had the Peach. She had 11 in the fourth quarter. She also had 2 steals after it looked like Curtis thought they had steals that were going to be buckets to the other end, and she came up behind them and caught them and took it away. I mean, she just showed the dog in the fourth quarter. It was like, no, we're not going to lose. It's not going to happen. And she didn't let it happen. And, it wasn't just her. Ryan Myers had a terrific season. That's a kid that I've watched grow up. She used to, keep an eye on my daughter baseball practice while I coached her little brother. And now she's all grown up and playing really well. And Lex Maldonado really came on at the end of the year and was a tough big for them. The Hollings girls were good contributors, and Genesis Wilson too. Great to see her get a ring coming over from Battery Creek, and none of them are seniors, so they all come back.
They're all come back, which is a chance to run it back. That's awesome. Credit to Fish and what he did. I mean, that's a tough job. I mean, for a first year program, and a bunch of girls that certainly have had some experience, but there were some holes to fill on that team, and the way he was able to do that throughout the year, I'm really impressed by the end product. And in a couple of games where they were tested in ways they weren't, because they didn't really play some of the toughest competition, and they had to play the teams they had to play, and they took care of the business that they had to do. But then when you went into the playoffs, and every team you play is going to have some skill, they found a way from, as you said, down 8 or 6 in that fourth quarter, and that is hard to do.
Yeah,
that state championship game when you have not played from behind that much at all in the season. Just more power to those young ladies and Coach Fish for making it happen.
Yeah, awesome stuff. You had a boys team, right? Did you do your boys team? Did I miss it?
I did my boys team.
You said
I'll go back again. With Hilton Head Prep Dolphins, not my alma mater, but one of the teams close to there, and the team I've got to see a lot throughout the years. And Coach Barron's done some excellent work, and I had my doubts about whether I thought the Christian Academy at one point looked like the team to beat, but I just I doubted too much on, well, first off, what Jason Bridge was able to do would be a seamless step in for what Cusano's role was. Obviously, certainly Cusano was one of the best we've seen, and I do think that he was probably a little more versatile than what we saw with Pritchie, but Pritchie was everything they wanted from that big man who can grab rebounds, defend, protect the rim, and then pass to the outside. They had a bunch of knockdown shooters this year, kind of come out of nowhere, especially when you lose a guy like Kane Eanes, who was one of those guys who made some threes and just really controlled the pace of offense and knocked down some shots. And a couple of those guys stood up, and then the guy we had today on Ben Frey, he was absolutely an enormous contributor to everything that they did, and played some tough defense too, and just found ways to grab some rebounds that some of those guys his same size and height don't grab it. He's just built different, and man, that guy's really mature as a basketball player. Love to see the growth that he's developed, and that was a big reason why Hilton Head Prep was able to find everyone they needed to put on a solid performance on a consistent basis. And they lost a few along the way. They took their lumps. They lost to some really good teams in that Holiday Classic and during Christmas time, and that really grew them up, I thought. And they got some nice wins in that tournament too. But they've just always seamlessly executed really well when they needed to, and in a game that was tight, and it just unlike them in that first half against Myrtle Beach. Could give credit to what Christian did, and made it uncomfortable, and took the number of possessions down, and if they hit some more shots, definitely could have been trouble for Hilton Head Prep. But the Dolphins weathered the storm, and then they got back to what they do best. And when it started clicking, they ran away with it. And there's nothing anybody could do to stop them at that point when they're on their game with the offense that they run. And yeah, it's been a really clinical, group that, as we said, a team first mentality, and that's what's really helped spur them to back-to-back state champions. Two very different looking teams. I mean, you had Connor Campbell there both years, but a couple of moving parts along the way, and they still get it done both times. So credit to Coach Bear and the Dolphins for running it back.
Yeah, man, it was impressive. It really was impressive to watch, because you looked at it on paper and you thought, yeah, they'll drop off a little bit, and then you looked at it even when they walked out on the court, and it didn't look like they were a team that was going to beat you up, but man, they just made it tough on everybody. They were not a fun team to play. Not a fun team to play at all. And that's what everybody says, is like, man, I hated playing against them. They just make you work for every damn thing. And Christian Academy just they weren't into it in the second half on Saturday. They tailed off. They didn't have the heart for it. They didn't have the heart for it in the second half.
And I think the coaching change, certainly Grunkemeyer leaving didn't, because they had to find like a replacement I think it was during the summer that he left.
Oh no, I meant Myrtle Beach. I meant Christian Academy in Myrtle Beach. Not Hilton Head Christian. Hilton Head Christian. I thought Hilton Head Christian. Yeah, Hilton Head Christian had a tough season, but
certainly.
But I thought they rallied at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I thought they rallied at the end of the year and played pretty tough, but certainly a disappointing, outcome for them. My team of the week, I'm not going to do a team of the week. I'm going to do here's my team of the week. All the Lowco wrestlers. My guys team of the week includes 2 girls. All the Lowco wrestlers who placed at state. Houston Rudisil, Jada Lawrence, and Gunnar DeGroat were all champs. Elmer Linares and Leroy Tias from Battery Creek placed second. Bryce Stevenson and Andrew Legree, Bryce Stevenson, Hilton Head, Andrew Legree, Battery Creek, and Jeremiah Chavez from Bridges Prep all placed third. And Vivian Uriola from May River, Dylan Seaman from May River, Antonio McKnight from Beaufort, Allie Jenkins from Bridges, and Stefan Lepresta from Colleton all placed fourth. So I got to shout all of them out. And I guess I will do a boys team of the week. Hampton County boys lost in the lower state final to Oceanside. But another just amazing season for those guys out there, and a great story once again. And, I thought they were the best, one of the best in the area, and certainly one of the most fun teams to watch in the area.
Yeah. It just transferring over from what we said during football season. I mean, what a fun environment, what a fun community to be able to cover. This has been one of the highlights of our school year, has been to see 2 of these schools that we got to cover last year, Estill and Wade Hampton, merge as one. It's been strengthened in every which way. It's been so fun. And just a scrappy, energetic, fun group of guys. And then the Ian story really made it one of a kind. And to see what he did, everything that got viral with what he did at the end of games, and just to see the enthusiasm in the crowd and the team, that I thought that really bonded the group together as it went on. And they pulled out a couple of tremendous victories in the playoffs, but they were just outmatched. Oceanside was the better team, and that's really what it came down to. They were a bit better. They had more size, and they're just on a roll right now. And for a team like that, it has the athletes to be able to outshoot you and outscore you. That's kind of what happened. But what a great team that was to cover, and just an amazing year over there at Hampton County to see some of the storylines that we've been able to cover with Zion winning a statewide football award, and what that team did, and some of the stars in that football team, like Kayvon Chisholm and Xavier Gardner, transitioning over to basketball, and with some of the basketball nature guys like Goodman and others. It was a really
Devin Allen. I'm going to miss watching. I'm going to miss watching Devin Allen play, man. He was fun to watch.
And then
and Kayvon and Zay, but they've got a lot coming back. Do not think that it's over for that team at all. Because their JV was either undefeated or had 1 loss. They were really good. And still they got, Goodman's back for another year. And I'm trying to think who else back, but they've got a bunch of guys coming back. Desmond Mathis.
And now Oceanside's moving up, and Gray, I guess, is moving up as well, and gives you opportunities that get to compete with a more level playing field. So, that goes for.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. They got a bunch of guys coming back. Desmond Mathis, Darius Brooks, Josh Goodman. They're all excellent. And then Coach Solomon's son, a freshman, is coming. Andre Williams. Joel Giddings, Jameer Martin's back. So they got plenty coming back. I'm not thinking the cupboard's dry. And then Jaden Singletary was just absolutely ridiculous.
I see him on the football field next year.
He's a dog. He's the
real
deal. He's the real deal. Yeah, he'll be the running back. He'll be the guy.
Running back and
they call him
Deshaun TV.
Yeah, they call him Dion. They call him Dion over there. So he'll go both ways. But it's been a great season of basketball and wrestling. But I'm excited for spring, ready to get out there and see some of these baseball teams, softball teams. I know HHCA baseball started with a couple big wins over big public schools from Georgia. Hilton Head Prep started off great in baseball, as they often do. And then excited to see lacrosse, Bluffton lacrosse.
Yeah.
They're coming up because Jake Ridgway's over there now. And
don't forget about boys golf, boys tennis, and track and field.
Oh yeah, it's all coming. Yep. It's all coming, man. It's coming in the next week. It's already tonight. It's starting to get crazy as far as the schedule and how much is on it. But next week is where it really goes bananas. But already tonight, I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 events across like 6 sports. And it's a lot to track, but it's all coming hot and heavy next week. And as Coach White says, Whale Branch soccer tournament starts this week. Nice. Yep. There's going to be a bunch of people in that one. So good times. That should do it for tonight. We went plenty deep enough tonight. Thanks so much to Ben Frey for hopping on with this. Great to talk with him. Great to cover his career. Congratulations to all of our state champs, the basketball teams, Hilton Head Christian girls, Hilton Head Prep boys, cross girls, and all our wrestling state champs, Houston Rudisill, Jada Lawrence, and Gunnar DeGroat. And thanks so much to all of our sponsors who make this all possible, and to you for showing up to listen or watch. I'm Justin Jarrett for Wes Kerr. And we'll be back tomorrow night to do it again, let you know what's going on around the Lowco, give you the Lowco Sports Lowdown. So until next time, go Lowco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go